Hi everyone, my name is Susie Q and I am the owner and maker of Glitter with Susie Q. If you like the content that you're seeing, please like, subscribe, and share. You can also connect with me by Facebook, Instagram, and email. Hey everyone, we got a long one this afternoon, so go ahead and grab your drink, grab your popcorn, get to crafting, do what you do while you're watching these videos. I promise you, as you can see, watching till the end is worth it because this tumbler came out absolutely gorgeous and I really want to show you how to make it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So apparently I forgot to hit record when I started taping, but not much was missed. All that was missed was I put one strip of about 1.5 inch painter's tape on the cup in as straight of a line as I possibly could. You want to try to get the very first line as straight as possible. That way everything else will be based upon this line. So if this line isn't straight, the rest of your lines won't be straight. So just make sure that you're taking your time and try to get that first line really, really straight. The second thing I did was I pulled off about 3-ish inches of that painter's tape, not of that painter's tape, of a new strip of painter's tape, and I put it as a spacer. I wanted all of these stripes to be the same distance apart from each other. It turns out that it didn't quite work out that way because the circumference of the cup and the width of the tape didn't quite make it so it worked out so that it was exactly perfect. Here in a minute, you'll just see me kind of adjust each piece of tape to make it so that to my eyeball, it was about the same. I was a little bit off, but in the end, you can't really tell because the vinyl is so gorgeous that you don't really notice that one of the stripes is a smidge shorter or smaller than the other two. So just go through and this is where I am like, uh-oh, that didn't work out quite the way I wanted it to. So I'm just going to take those pieces of tape and adjust them. Alrighty, so now I'm going to take my vinyl edging tool and I am going to just cut those pieces of tape off the bottom of the cup. I wanted about 1/4 inch of the bottom of the cup exposed, including, so 1/4 inch of the bottom of the sides of the cup, and then the entire bottom is all going to be glitter. So I cut off the tape And then here in a moment, you'll see that I am going to re-tape that, but I am going to tape it in a different way so that I make sure that I can cover the entire bottom of the cup and entire bottom about 1/4 of an inch of the cup. So now I'm just going through and I'm lining up my tape that's going to cover the bottom of the cup with the tape that I put in the strips on the circumference of the cup. Again, I'm doing this so that I can glitter the places where I'm taping are going to be glittered in the red color. So I want to make sure that I don't get any of the white spray paint on anywhere that the blue painter's tape is. So I'm just going through and covering everything that I want to be red. Once I'm done taping off, I will take this cup outside and I am going to do a quick layer of white spray paint. I'll link the kind that I use down below, but it really doesn't matter. Whatever white spray paint you have on hand, just take it outside, spray paint it real quick, let it dry, and then you can move into your next steps. Alright, so now it's time to glitter our white sections. I'm going to use Disregard from the Glitter Guy, and I am going to use my Crystalite glitter glue in order to adhere my white glitter. I know that normally it's recommended to do your darkest color first. Glittering, painting, all of the things. I didn't have any paint that was not spray paint in the color white. So I really needed to get the white glitter done first so that I could keep the tape lines on there so that I could then paint it red and do the red or garnet color of glitter after that. I did have some mixture of my white and my red glitter. It turns out that it really didn't matter. You can't really tell because of the semi-transparent vinyl that we put on top of it. So really in this case, it doesn't matter. You can do your white glitter first and it all turns out just fine in the end. So as you can see, I'm putting a healthy amount of glitter glue all over the cup where I have spray painted it white. I am then going to take my Disregard and I'm going to sprinkle it all over the white sections. This gives you a base so that when you put your semi-transparent vinyl down, you still have some sparkle underneath it. I wanted to make sure that I had sparkle all over the cup, And if I didn't put this glitter down in the white sections underneath where I put the vinyl, then it wouldn't have been sparkly and it would have just been this white strip underneath, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be completely sparkly. So I sprinkled my glitter on there, and then I will immediately peel the tape off after I am done doing the 3 sections of white glitter. Watch how satisfying it is to pull this tape off. These super clean lines are beautiful. The white glitter is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, it is amazing. While you're watching this, go ahead and like this video. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel. And if you wouldn't mind, share this video with a friend who you think might enjoy the content. All right, once I got all that tape off of it, I let this sit and dry for at least 2 hours. I want to say that I did this part at night, and so I let it dry overnight, and then I came back the next day and I jumped into my painting the next day. But make sure that you let it dry for at least 2 hours so that glue is completely dry. Alrighty, our next step is we are going to take this Bordeaux red from Arteza Colors, and we are going to paint all of the remaining silver part red. Be very careful while you're doing this because you don't want any of the red paint to get onto the white glitter. So go really, really, really slowly. Make sure that you are like going over those edges, but you are going so slow. You'll see here in just a second, I do mess up a little bit and I do get some red paint in the white glitter. Again, it turns out to be fine because we are putting this semi-transparent vinyl on top of it. But if you're not putting any vinyl on top of the white part, it will be noticeable and you don't want that. So just do the best that you can on staying in the lines and paint this red color as slowly as you possibly can. I have sped up this video quite a bit because we would be here all night long if I hadn't, because this cup took a lot of different steps. So just make sure that you are taking your time. Please don't think that I'm moving as fast as I am in the video because I for sure am not. It just looks that way because I sped it up. just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so far, or if you didn't do so in my first reminder, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also like this video. It helps push out this content to the people who want to see it. So if you wouldn't mind helping me out and liking and subscribing, that would be a tremendous help to me, and I would really appreciate it. So just like the white glitter, I'm going to be using the Crystalite glitter glue in order to adhere my red glitter. This red glitter is from the Glitter Chimp, and it is called Garnet. This glitter is absolutely gorgeous. I did not realize how pretty it was going to be until it got on this cup. And y'all, I'm telling you, this is like one of the most prettiest reds I think I've ever seen. It is a perfect Christmas color. It is a perfect like circus tint color as well. I started pouring this on the cup, and I instantaneously got 3 ideas of cups that I wanted to make using this glitter alone. So stay tuned in the future. You may see other videos made with this absolutely gorgeous Garnet glitter. Unfortunately, you cannot get your own because the Glitter Chimp has closed their doors and they are no longer in business. But it really is a pretty, very, very beautiful color. If you have a kind of a maroon-based color, that's what I would recommend. Even if you don't have this exact color, but like a maroon color would work. And really any color that you have that you want to use that matches your semi-transparent vinyl. I chose this color because it really reminds me of fall, and that's kind of what my thinking was for this cup, was more of a fall flower cup. And so I chose this color because it reminded me of fall, and it did the job, but it also reminds me of Christmas, and it also reminds me of a couple other things. So grab your favorite color that you want to and glitter away. So, of course, because I did my red glitter after doing my white glitter, there was a little bit of mixture. And so what I'm doing is I'm just taking my brush, and after the maroon glitter has completely dried, make sure you wait that 2 hours, but after it's completely dried, I'm just taking my brush and I'm first going over the white, and I'm trying to get as much of the red glitter off of the white glitter as possible. Once I get it off, I am then going to go over my red glitter, and I am going to brush off all the extra from the red. I will then use my Crystalac glitter glue, and I will, I'm going to seal the glitter in. I wish that I had used a spray sealer, and the reason why is because I had more shifting from the red into the white with sealing than I anticipated. I guess that I got a chunk of glitter on the brush as I was sealing the white, and it sure did transfer some of that red into the white. So in the future, when I do this design again, or if I do this design again, I would definitely use a spray sealer as opposed to the Crystalac glitter glue. I was just out of spray sealer, so I had to use the Crystalac glitter glue. And normally, you guys know me, I love Crystalac glitter glue. Normally it works perfectly, but this time I think that I just wasn't as careful as I should have been, and so some glitter transferred into the white. Now, again, it doesn't end up really mattering because we put that semi-transparent vinyl on top of the white pieces, so really you can't tell that it's the red glitter underneath. It just kind of ends up blending together. But if for some reason it doesn't work out that way for you, I just don't want your project to be ruined because you didn't use a spray sealer. So in this project, I would definitely recommend using a spray sealer. So another thing that happened was when I was sealing my red vinyl, or not my red vinyl, I apologize, my red glitter, I'm not totally sure what happened, but some of my red glitter came off the cup completely. So in the end, I have a couple of patches where the red glitter, it's not there anymore, and it's just that red paint. You can't tell tremendously because we base painted the cup red, and that red, the Bordeaux red, matched our red glitter so perfectly that it is really hard to tell. But again, I would not use the glitter glue to do this again. I would use the spray adhesive and avoid all of that altogether, and I would just use the spray sealer. The only thing that I can think of is because I didn't use epoxy and I just used the Crystalac glitter glue to adhere my glitter, maybe it didn't have as strong of a bond as I'm used to, and I wasn't as delicate with my paintbrush as I should have been. So I'm going to blame me. I'm not going to blame the glitter glue. I'm going to blame me, and I'm going to say it was a user error thing. But again, when I do this project again, I'm going to definitely use spray sealer. All right, I'm going to set this aside for about 2 hours. Again, it was probably overnight that I let this sit because I do most of my crafting late at night, and I don't have 2 hours once I put glue on there to let it dry and come back to it. So I let it probably dry overnight and then came back to it the next day to put my epoxy on. So I went through and I put 2 layers of epoxy on this cup, and now I'm going through and I'm measuring how thick these stripes are. When I cut the vinyl, I knew that each strip was at least under 2 inches. So I made my strips of vinyl 2 inches by, I believe it was 8.5. I wanted lots of extra overhang on both sides and on the top. That way I could trim it down and I didn't have to line it up exactly perfectly in order for it to fit and do what I wanted it to do. So I went to my Cricut machine and I put in those dimensions, and then I went ahead and I cut out the vinyl. You can see that there's a chunk of this vinyl that is messed up. I ordered this vinyl. Glitter Chimp used to do this thing where they would send you some vinyl that was a little bit messed up, but you could still use the majority of the vinyl. So I purchased that pack, and so there was just this little strip that is unusable on the vinyl, but I don't need that part, so I just made sure that I lined it up on my mat so that that part wouldn't be cut out. I then cut out my strips of 2 by 8.5, and now I am just lining them up on the cup. I am doing my best not to get air bubbles. I chose not to use transfer tape, and I would not use transfer tape on this project. I would go ahead and I would just do what I'm doing, and I'd pick up the strip and I would lay it down as slowly and as bubble free as you possibly can. If you get some bubbles in there, it's not that big of a deal. Take your craft knife, pop them, do what you do. It's standard protocol, but I would definitely recommend having some extra hangover on either side and on the top. And I'll show you what I do here in just a moment in order to clean up that vinyl. So watch me as I put these 3 layers of, or 3 strips of vinyl on. And again, I'm going super slow, but I have sped this video up very quickly so that we're not here all night. Because I cannot cut a straight line to save my life, what I decided to do was I decided to take this cheap green painter's tape, and I just pulled a strip off of it that I knew was going to be long enough to cover the length of the cup. So I then am taking my craft knife and very slowly I am running my blade, a very sharp blade, by the way. This is a brand new blade. You want to make sure that your blade is really sharp so that you have a really, really clean cut. But I am using the edge of the tape in order to cut the vinyl straight. Then I just pull up that extra vinyl, take it off, and throw it in the trash can. I then take that piece of tape off and I lay it down on my next corner. This tape really likes to stick to itself, so it took me a minute to get it untangled, but I was able to use this piece for the whole cup, so don't think that you're wasting a ton of tape or anything. I'm just using this piece of tape for the whole cup, and every single edge I line it up the best that I can, and I use my craft knife to very, very slowly and carefully cut off the excess part of the vinyl. Alrighty, so now I'm going to clean up the upper rim of the cup. I'm trying to pull my vinyl as tightly as I can, and then I'm just going to take my blade and I'm going to run it across the vinyl. This first cut didn't go well, and I don't know why, but it kind of, my blade kind of got stuck, which is very strange because it is a brand new blade, but it did get stuck a little bit. In the end, you can't tell, but I was a little frustrated after doing all this work, and the vinyl didn't cut perfectly. The other two sections did cut perfectly, but that first one, it gave me some trouble, and I was a little frustrated, but it all turned out looking beautiful. And I am just going through and I'm trimming off the excess amount up at the top, and I am letting this vinyl go straight up to the rim. I don't want a gap at the rim. I will take care of that here in a moment after I am done doing a layer of epoxy, and I'll just sand that rim down really well so that a very, very small part of that rim is exposed so that my final layer of epoxy can adhere to the cup as opposed to the vinyl and the glitter. So here I am, just super excited of how this has turned out, and I noticed that I had a couple of bubbles in my vinyl. So like I said, I'm just taking my craft knife, popping those bubbles, and pushing out all the air. But at this point, I got really excited about this cup because it's turning out better than I expected. I knew it was going to be a beautiful cup, but at this point, I was like, oh yes, this is exactly better than what I envisioned, actually. Alrighty, now I'm going to go through with my striping. I wanted to outline the striping, number one, to kind of cover up and make the transition from the glitter to the vinyl a little bit more seamless. And so I'm just taking these strips of very thin black vinyl, and as you can see, I just cut a full sheet of them. I honestly don't even know how thick these are. I cut them so long ago. If I had to make a guess, it would probably be 0.08, 0.09, maybe even smaller than that, but just kind of figure out how big you want your striping and make it that big. I wanted it very small because I didn't want the striping to take away from the vinyl that we put down, but I did want to finish the cup off with a little bit of this vinyl striping. So you'll see that I am just going around every section of where I have put the vinyl, and I am outlining it with this black vinyl. I do the two long strips first, and then I take one of the sections of the part that I've cut off of the long strip and put it across the bottom. That seemed to me to be the most effective way of doing it and having the least amount of vinyl waste that I could possibly have. Here I am just taking a look at my work and super excited how it's turned out. I did not put any sealer on the pinstriping that I did. If you're worried about it lifting, go ahead and seal it in, but I didn't think that I needed to. I immediately put this on my turner, put a layer of epoxy on there, and let it go. Once this layer of epoxy cured, I cleaned up the rim, I did a real quick sand, then I put another layer of epoxy on there, and then I was done. I let it cure, and here is the final pictures of the cup. All right, you guys, I know this was a long one, so if you stuck with me, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I promised you that it would be worth it in the end, and I really think that I kept that promise. This is such a beautiful cup. Please, if you end up making it, tag me in it so that I can see what I helped inspire you to make. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Happy crafting! You can connect with me on social media with Facebook and Instagram, and you can also send me an email. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. But now it's time for you to watch the video that's suggested for you on the screen. Have a great day. Bye.